Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Good to see everybody in here. Uh, let's check our connection. Make sure that we are clear, and we're not gonna be before you long. This one's not gonna take long, but it's gonna be strong. Not gonna be long, but it's gonna be strong. And how y'all doing? I see y'all coming in the room. If you're a hater, say hi. If you're a hater, say hi, clown. But if you're a friend, tell me how the audio is. Put a one in the chat if the audio is fine. Friend or foe, friend or foe. Like 8 Ball and MJG said. Friend or foe, you just will never know. hmm Put a one in the chat if the audio is fine, if you're a friend. And if you're a hater or a foe, I hope you break your leg tomorrow. I pray and hope with everything within me you break your leg or your neck tomorrow. Accidentally, just slip, fall, break your leg, throw your hip out of socket, break your neck. Now, with that said, like, share, and subscribe, and thank you to all of the people that's been supporting. Again, I want to make sure I say that on every stream, just to make sure that I'm telling my supporters that I appreciate you. I appreciate you, for real, for real. I appreciate you. Brother asked me the other day, why am I not putting out the drive for the computer, like just constant, like and I'm like, man, I put it out there, and it's taking a while, but I'm not gonna be out here like Sonetta, you know, coming at y'all on Friday. Oh, it's Friday, y'all just got paid today. No, 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 no. If it takes me, I don't know how long it take me, I'm not gonna be over here acting like this is a 3 o'clock false prophet infomercial. Okay, so I just wanted to let the people know that I thank you, and for whatever way you support me. Now let's get into this real quick because it's not gonna be long, but it's gonna be strong. I wanted to visit this because I was looking at the Nuts show the other day, and again, I want to say to you, man, Khalid Muhammad would be totally ashamed of you. Yes, Khalid Muhammad probably would spit in your face, probably would smack you, probably would blacklist you, everything. Because yesterday was that yesterday or the day before, whichever day it was a very sad day in the conscious community. When you see your conscious community leader go hard for informants, go hard for snitching, try to tell you all of these crazy things that we're going to deal with right now just real quickly, and want you to accept that. I did a video the other day and I talked about Rap Brown, and I talked about how Rap Brown had a little speech that he was dealing with, and he talked about black people. Our nature is to go for it. Go for it. Go for anything. Go for bullshit. Go for, you know, wood nickels. Go for scams. Go for the hustle. Go for lies. Go for, you know, painting up on the outside a dirty glass to look clean. Our people go for that. Our people go for that. Look at my neighbor pulling in. I gotta hear him. Okay, thank you. But our people go for that. And Rap Brown said, and I quote, before I start the stream, I'm like, I gotta tell you Rap Brown's message. Rap Brown was talking about the monetary standard in the United States and throughout all of these democratic countries, that the actual ruling bodies and the governments and the powers that be control that standard to the point that they can monetize anything at any point. It just chooses that, to be that most people are comfortable with the dollar, the paper dollar, that note tender. But truth be told, they could monetize pebbles and rocks. And so Rap Brown says, black people are such chumps. He said, the white man could tell you, if you gather up all of the rocks in the country and bring us all of the rocks, we'll give you paper dollars in return for your rocks and make you paper rich. But then Rap Brown said that same person that told you that and it's got that power over the monetary standard, they will tell you we're using rocks as currency, chump. And because of your thirst, your hunger for what you're used to, or hungry for a lie, hungry for something that is worthless, and the truth about it, it's worthless. So Rap Brown said the white man would tell you we're using rocks as currency because they can literally monetize rocks. You can monetize leaves. You can monetize lint. That's their power. hmm But black people go for it. And you would gather up all of the rocks thinking you're going to become rich, paper rich, because you think that's what wealth is. And you bring it, and they'll give you a boatload, a wheelbarrow full of dollars. And those rocks that you turned in become your currency. So Rap Brown said that, and that's the truth about our people. You go for it, because you're a chump, Rap Brown said. And I'm about to tell you, y'all go for the chump shit still today. Yes, you do. Now, let me address the show from the nut to all of the chumps that would believe that becoming a literal FBI informant is okay for our people to do, to accept, and to even coddle and protect. I watched a brother the other night tell all of y'all that it would have been foolish for him to go physically try to go up against the Yahweh Ben Yahweh group because they were, as he says, murderers. But I said to myself, I'm listening to you talk about your other life as a drug dealer. And I grew up around drug dealers. I know something about drug dealing. I don't sell drugs and I never was a drug dealer, but I said I grew up around them, and I know this. Drug dealing is one of the most dangerous careers you could ever get into. Straight up. And especially in Florida in the 80s. So I'm bringing that up because the brother says he was a drug dealer and he left the cult, and in his time leaving the cult, he went through a lot of stages, becoming a gay dancer and all or whatever the kind of gay stripping you was into or whatever, man. But the brother said he became a drug dealer for about 5 to 6 months, right? And I said to myself, this man just told us he was afraid to take his wife and his 2 little bitty children out of a dangerous cult where he knew molestation was going on, all different forms of child abuse, all different forms of sexual abuse, and even assault. All types of murder and debauchery and craziness is going on. And this brother told us that he was afraid to confront that because they would have beat him, they would have killed him, they would have done something to his wife or his children. And so he proceeds to tell you that the better option for him, not to sneak away with his family, not to walk away with his family, not to shoot away, getting away with his family, but he said his choice to, number one, stay for the time that he was in there, and then to go straight to the FBI and leave his children, his little infant children, and his wife for over a year. This was his original testimony to us on Sinetta Show. I got it on my downloads. For over a year, you left. And while you were out stripping and being a male thought, you became a drug dealer. And peace to Showtime, and peace to Vox Insanity. Yeah, he's trying to sell you snake oil. And so I'm saying, in my knowledge of what a drug dealer's life is and how many drug dealers and gangbangers and such that I know have died most violently. I have a friend named Torrio. God rest his soul. Torrio was killed on the couch inside of a trap house because he fell asleep with a pocket full of money. And they cut Torrio's pockets and they tore off his pants and they beat him in the head with a hammer and they left him outside in the rain for dead. That's the life of a drug dealer. I mean, was that Torrio? Excuse me, no, that wasn't Torrio. Torrio was another brother that got murdered. But this was Big Head, Cardell Big Head. He was murdered in a trap house, beat in the head with a hammer. Unrecognizable when we went to see his funeral. My friend Torrio, excuse me for mixing the two, but my friend Torrio was murdered at his grandmother's house, and they killed his grandmother also. And after the funeral, or while the funeral was going on, guess what happened? They went back to the house and burnt it down so the crime lab couldn't get evidence. They waited till the family was gone away from the house and went back and burned it down. These are drug dealers in the South. Get wicked. And I'm saying, if you chose on purpose the life of a drug dealer and you were selling weight, you were selling big dope, tricking and everything, like you said in your book, buying hoes. But that kind of life didn't scare you. You know, putting your life on the line. You could die any minute from getting robbed, or that didn't scare you. Becoming a dope dealer, excuse me, burping, becoming a dope dealer and even selling that poison to our people. Becoming a sorcerer, because like I told y'all before, even in the Bible, what it talks about sorcerers and sorcery and how they will have their part in the lake of fire. The word sorcery in the Greek is pharmakia, and that is akin to all of your drugs and drug habits, your drug use, abuse, and your drug sales shall have your part in the lake. Drug use, drug dealers. And so this Negro became a drug dealer and put his life on the line for 6 months to get rich while his family was still in the cult. And I keep bringing the point up that these children were little bitty children. He ran off on them for over a year to become a drug dealer and put his life on the line in the streets for foolishness, but wouldn't put his life on the line to go and confront that cult and take his own children and his wife. Let's see, who is this in the chat saying a 22-year-old, a drug dealer, a 22-year-old, right? Why is that so unbelievable? I know drug dealers that are 22. I know drug dealers that were 16. I know drug dealers that were 12 years old. Age has nothing to do with drug dealing. Drug dealing is a spiritual sickness, and a motherfucker that's too lazy to go out and hone a craft or get a skill. There ain't no age limit on drug dealing. Too old. I know old dope dealers. I knew a teacher from my high school, fam, that sold weed. And he used to sell us weed every day after school. I ain't gonna call his name, but he's probably dead right now. But I knew old drug dealers. I knew old drug dealers, and I knew young drug dealers, and all between. But this nigga was a 25-plus-year-old drug dealer. He wasn't really 22. That's what he told us at first. And I don't go off of him telling the story 3 or 4 times and changing it all. The nigga was 25 years old enough to be an alpha male and strong enough and smart enough to do what's right for his family versus do what's safe for him. See, this man watched and stood guard while people were beaten and taken away to be murdered. And let me make another quote from his documentary. He said that he stood watch while the very man that was beheaded, that he keeps on telling the story about, all these Yahwehs were beheading people, them, these. He's pointing at them as if he wasn't one of them. But on the documentary, he told us that he stood as a lookout while they beat this man unmercifully and then wrapped him up in a rug and walked right by Khalil. Khalil even described that they put the man in the goddamn trunk. And later on, they found out this man was beheaded. Now, that's all true, that the man did get beheaded and murdered. But did you forget that Khalil was a part of it? And all while that man was being beaten, wrapped in a rug, thrown in the trunk, driven to some location to be, abusively murdered, this silly son of a bitch didn't even walk to the payphone and dial 911. You telling us there wasn't no goddamn payphones in South Florida? Huh? You had to become a goddamn snitch to keep, you know, to keep your hero status in your own mind. That's hero. You watch a man get beaten, put in a rug, thrown in the trunk, and you didn't say, listen, y'all, I'm finna go down the street. I gotta go take a couple, members some literature. So what, did they chain you to the wall? You couldn't leave? You didn't never go out on the town? You didn't never see a police officer? You didn't never see anybody of the Florida free world where you could say, you know what, I need help. Can you help me? Or just fucking call 911. You couldn't have done that for your friend? But this same man tells you that he kept quiet about that until he ran away way after the fact. See, he didn't run away the night that they murdered this man. He didn't run away the day after that or the fucking week after that. This nigga stayed in that bullshit, and they probably did that shit over and over and over, and Khalil kept it all. I'll tell you some more. Let me get you out of here. Get your stupid ass out of here. You're an idiot. You're probably a snitch yourself. Let me get you out of here. Get your snitching ass out of here. See you later. Oh, and let me make sure I get you right. I don't want to play with you. I want to make sure I do you right. Huh? Throw you in the lake of fire forever. And if you get blocked on my channel, I don't unblock motherfuckers like that. See, like I just threw this nigga here in the lake of fire. He ain't gonna come back. He gonna have to go get another channel. So play with me if you want to. If you're in here and you're a motherfucking snitch, or you're a motherfucking FBI informant, and you're in here and being a agent, tapping your keys, trying to get the people to think that it's all fucking right to become a FBI informant instead of be an alpha male, a black god, and fight for your own family. My nigga, you could run out and sell our people dope and poison, become a drug dealer, and kill other people, and put your own life on the line. But you was too scared because they was gonna do something to you. No, you were too selfish. You see, your fear made you super selfish to the point that all you cared about was saving your own ass. I remember looking at Khalil running on that documentary. This nigga was running down the street. When he finally hauled ass, he told his wife, listen, baby, just give me a 5-minute head start. I know you're going to go tell Yahweh ben Yahweh. Just give me a 5 minute head start. And I guess she did. And this Negro took off running like Kunta Kinte, mm? Straight out of Roots, something straight out the movies. He's running and threw off his robe, threw off his turban, but he didn't throw off that fearful bullshit, that selfish bullshit. And that same ignorant nigga said that he also watched child molestation go on. This is what he said. You know, the reason why he didn't want to get to shooting and fighting them, because they probably would have molested his child or done something to his child. But the most common sense thing, you think, if your child is in a place where there's danger, you think running away and leaving the child is the great option. You think that's the most sane thing to do? No, that's the coward thing to do. But you were so scared to do all of that, but yet you participated in it. You said on side of the show, again, let me quote you again. You said you watched Yahweh being Yahweh in the wee hours of the morning and night, going in and out of those parishioners' dorm rooms with children that had young girls in it. You said you watched that. But my nigga, you couldn't dial 911. You couldn't tell nobody. They had you chained up against the wall until they were ready for you to maybe kiss Yahweh ben Yahweh in the mouth like you say you did. You let this man kiss you in your mouth, take your wife, make love to your wife, and you knew it. He even sent you on errands, on fool's missions to other states, and you knew him and your wife was having an affair, an adulterous relationship. Your words. So much so that you said, and I quote, you said you came in and overheard your wife having a conversation one night with another sister talking about how big Yahweh ben Yahweh's dick was. And that doesn't take the cake, because he didn't stop there. The Negro said that he told her, that's not righteous. Don't talk like that. You shouldn't be talking about another man's dick. I have a dick? Why you don't talk about my dick? And so whatever Khalil did to this woman, strangled her, screamed at her, spit in her face, or just was too much of a beta male and she just couldn't take it, whatever it was, she went directly to Yahweh ben Yahweh and told her, now you know Khalil heard me talking about how big your dick is. And he got mad. And Khalil said, the same man, Yahweh ben Yahweh, called a meeting, brought them all into an auditorium space, gave a speech, and walked over to Khalil, put his hand on Khalil's shoulder, and asked the entire audience, hey everybody, what do you think ought to happen to a man that worried about the size of another man's dick? I think that's how you said it. Let this car pass over. Hold on. But he said, Yahweh ben Yahweh said, hey everybody, what do you think about a man that's worried about the size of another man's dick? I can't even say that without laughing. Can't even say it without getting the words messed up. And so he said that Yahweh ben Yahweh took a paddle, gave it to his wife, not Yahweh being Yahweh's wife, but to Khalil's wife, and made Khalil's wife beat him with the paddle because Yahweh being Yahweh bent him over a chair. And his wife beat him and 40 other women in that auditorium. 3 licks apiece. Huh? 40 times 3. All for talking about the size of another man's dick. And bro, you took all of that kind of shit and you stayed in that goddamn cult. You couldn't call 911 for your motherfucking self. Instead of going and just dumping your brain out on the table, on the field office table, running away from the problem instead of confronting it, standing up like a man, being a man in that cult. Hmm? Couldn't do it, huh? Had to let the man kiss you in the mouth. But the point is that you covered all of that shit up and you kept it inside. You make it like you kept it all inside after you left. But that don't make sense. You were in that shit for all of that time that everything that happened, happened. And you participated and you witnessed it and you never said a goddamn thing, even concerning yourself and your family. And then to come and tell us 25, 30 years later, you couldn't do anything about it. No, you wouldn't do anything about it, and you chose to go and live the dangerous lifestyle of a drug dealer versus live the lifestyle of a real nigga. You left your babies, you left your wife, and it's not like y'all broke up inside the cult. He took her from you and you ran off. She was still your wife when you asked her for 5 minutes head start. So now, like I said, I'm not going to be long, but I was going to be strong, and I wanted to place that in your mind. Listen, is it okay for you to hold and do all of that debauchery and then become a snitch and then tell on all of those people that you did all of that shit with, and then Sonetta and any other idiot that's foolish and desperate for friendship and attention and a viral video and a YouTube chat, you tell the people that that's okay. That's okay. That's all right. But like I said, Khalid Muhammad would spit in your goddamn face. Khalid Muhammad would disown you. Khalid Muhammad probably would smack you and whip your ass. Mm-hmm. So now, exactly 1 year from the time when you were saying, you know what, this guy's an FBI informant, and I need to know how to keep this guy on a long handle spoon. He told you on the show that one time, yes, the FBI are watching. He told us on the camera, yes, I talk to them all the time and I'm still on the leash and got them on speed dial. He told us he was a government agent by that word, agent. I have it documented out of your own mouth, Khalil. You were definitely a informant. And I don't know how in the hell you became the first WITSEC guy to come out here and tell all of their secrets, and they don't lock you up because you're putting other people in danger. You sold out your people and your family to go run and be a dope dealer, and then later on your conscience eat your ass up for what you didn't tell when you could do something about it. You waited too late. Why you a dope dealer and all this other fuck shit? You quit selling dope because your conscience was messing with you and you was doing too much tricking, feeling bad about yourself. Then you tell. But that's being lauded as a hero today by your conscious community leader and these elder niggas, so-called elders, but these are just niggas with gray hair, maggot brain. You're not scared to promote homosexuality in the black community? You're LGBT advocate who produces homosexual hip hop. You're not afraid to destroy the actual center of reproduction for the black man and woman. Because if you gay, you ain't reproducing nothing. Don't play with yourself. And Khalil promotes that. You're not afraid to promote that, but you was afraid to stand up for yourself like a motherfucking man. And 30 years later, you're trying to tell other young people that may be going through the same thing, and there are definitely a lot of cults out here. You're telling them that just take what you take, see what you see, don't tell nobody, let these people die, let these people get molested, let this go down, let yourself get abused, let your wife get taken, let your kids get abused, whatever you got to do, just take it, and then sneak out when it's way too late, and then tell after it's all done. That's what you're teaching the people. That's what you're teaching the youngsters today that might fall into cults, that might fall into, all of these debaucherous, murderous groups and gangs and all of this other shit. That's the example you're setting. Do all of the bullshit, hide it, and then run out and get worse, become a dope dealer, and then snitch. Then become an FBI informant. Is that how you make everything better? Nigga, you had plenty times and plenty chance and plenty sense enough to do it the right way. And plenty balls enough to sell dope, the most dangerous career. You had all of them nuts to sell dope in the 80s, in the worst time in the world to sell drugs in the United States, in Florida. Don't you know, I think Griselda Blanco and all of these other nut-ass people were still alive and out of prison running Miami, running Florida. You wasn't scared to sell kilos of dope in that kind of fucking murder trap, but you were scared to go back and get your family. And you said you had guns, but you was also scared. I wonder, would you have used those guns if somebody tried to rob you? Would you have been scared to defend yourself? Because you'd have had to go to jail in the streets if you'd have got busted selling that dope. Or if you had to bust at a nigga for robbing you or trying to kill you. You put all of that on the line, that fatherhood, chances of going to prison, getting killed, getting robbed or maimed. You put all of that as a chance and a priority that you're willing to take. But you wasn't willing to take the chance of going to jail, maimed, or getting killed or anything like that in defense of your own. That's the lie you telling our people. And Sinetta is such a wicked nigga that he knows Khalil Amani is just like, he's just like a crucifix to a vampire. You know what I'm saying? If he wants to keep away a certain persons or people, then he grabs Khalil and holds Khalil close. He got a silver bullet for a vampire. A snitch. And that makes you so goddamn questionable and foolish because I know now that you'll do any fucking thing. Not only hide all of the homosexual stuff and just be a closet basket case bisexual yourself, but I know you will promote anything and anybody. All for what? You damn sure don't love black people. You're doing that for a check. You're doing that for a click and some donations, dude, and AdSense. You're not doing that because you love black people. How could you? He's a goddamn FBI informant. And he even told you that they asked him to infiltrate the Nation of Islam, nigga. And he said to you, out of one side of his mouth, you shouldn't believe anything I say. That's a quote. He said that on the same interview. Then he said, well, hell, since I told you about all of this, you should believe me. I'm not hiding. You ain't hiding because it's stupid niggas out here like Sonetta. Huh? This is stupid niggas out here like that. You don't have to hide. He'll take you and try to even use you for his own good. Don't know that you can't take fire in your bosom, nigga. You need a long handle spoon to handle a nigga like that. So now, listen, in closing, how you become a dope dealer? Put your life on the line and other people's life on the line every day. But you were scared to do it for your own and even your friends that got murdered and those children that got molested that you witnessed. A closer look at Khalil and Amani. Y'all, you better wake your ass up.